Attention. Go.
So off they go now in the final of the Fawley. Windsor Boys School in the green have got out really fast off the pontoon there. In the yellow boat, trying to match them, Clares Court School. They're just a little bit sharper, Windsor Boys. But now look at the steering issue potentially from Clares Court School heading mid-river, and immediately Sir Matt Pinson raises his flag. In fact, he's asking the Windsor Boys School to head back to the Berkshire station. Both teams getting a bit too central there, Sarah.
Yeah, it's so easy to do. You want to stay away from the edge of the course. And Windsor Boys School, they raced Leander yesterday and they had to row back through, and they seem to have learned from that. They've gone out today and made sure they've had a really fast start.
Yeah, the Windsor Boys coach Mark Wilkinson, I had a brief chat with him after racing yesterday, and he said they wouldn't be making the same error, having to try and hang on in the race, and I think it was only a couple of foots in the end in their semi-final.
Yeah, that was an incredible race. I watched it on the playback. We were standing in Leander and we saw that quad come back dejected, and it's now all about these two crews, these 8 men. Clares Court defending champions. Bowman is defending champion. He raced in this event last year. He knows what it's like to accept the prizes from our honoured guests who will be doing that. And Windsor Boys, gosh, they lost it last year. That would have hurt them, and they want to seek this opportunity. And look at that, they've gone out. That long loose catch that we saw yesterday, so effective, keeping the rate high, hoping to push away from Clares.
Two relatively local schools, Clares Court Maidenhead and Windsor Boys, a little more than 15 miles from where we sit at the finish line here. So they both know this stretch of water very well. And they both know each other very well. It's not the first time they've had a match-up.
Absolutely, they've been racing all year, and it's been interesting because Clares, the crew on the left, they've just come into form recently. Coach Tom Joss was talking about how they just found this rhythm and they just don't yet know how far they can take it. It's taken them to Sunday.
Yeah, pretty good progress, isn't it? And they'll just think one more win, and we've done what our objective was back on Wednesday morning. But it's still the early lead, the Windsor Boys School in the green and yellow diagonal that you can see to the right of the picture. They've settled down to a very nice rhythm, haven't they?
They have. It looks great. Not quite as fast, just under record time, 1:56 to the barrier there by the Windsor Boys School. Pressing out, hands lifting, moving, both these crews moving really effectively.
A lot of spectators toe dipping on the bank, you can see. Early for that, the water's nice and warm there. Past the barn bar. Have you been there this week, Sarah?
Only passed it on a boat on the way up to the start, I'm afraid. Yes, generally
I'll
don't get the time to leave stewards. I just saw there the Clares Court Bowman, Oliver Costley, just looking over his shoulder. He will be having to turn his head now to see where Windsor Boys is, because again, we're seeing a decisive move. Windsor Boys could have just about broken free of the Clares Court bow ball.
Yeah, that's the disadvantage that Clares Court School have at the moment, and in fact it's Windsor Boys School who've just put on a bit of a shift there, snapping through a year or two, and they've now got it to beyond a length, as you say, Sarah.
Yeah, it's beyond a length, and Clare's just having a little bit of problems with their steering there. They're very close to the booms on that buck station. I think they're absolutely fine, but that will have given them a little bit of scare. Absolutely key that they keep together, and they're holding on, still in touch there. Windsor Boys still 3 seconds outside record pace, but still leading this race. Clares Court, though, it's not over.
Oliver Costley, the bowman for Clares Court, just having another glance over, and now they've made the move, and look at this, they've stormed through at this point in the race. They've decided enough's enough, and Windsor Boys, or what have they got in reserve? Because look at this for a move from Clares Court School. Again, it appeared to be a decisive move, again on the buck station, and again in mid-race, where the trailing boat during the first half of the race has turned it round and moved to a lead.
Yes, let's see where we go when we get the overhead shot. It looks fantastic there. Windsor Boys are a little bit tighter there at the moment, just half a length. They'll be able to see Clare's Court coming back at them, and you just need to keep focused in your own boat. The crowds are about to come into the enclosures. It's about to get really noisy for these 8 men. Can they hold on? Who is going to hold their hand in the fire? Because it's going to be hurting, even in this tailwind.
So Clare's Court School had nudged ahead, but only momentarily. And now it's the Windsor Boys School who have responded and have maintained that lead. But they're going to be hurting, as you say, Sarah. They're going to have to dig very, very deep here. Look at that as we come into the business end of the race. It's such a slender lead for the Windsor Boys School.
It is. Look at that now. Clare's Court, they're just moving every stroke. That long loose rhythm we talked about yesterday, it worked for them. They'd moved away yesterday ahead of Maidenhead, but today they've had to fight their way back. And Windsor Boys School, they can feel the other crew. Are Clare's Court doing what they did to Leander yesterday? But Windsor Boys, they've just put the rate up again. I see their blades coming down to the water a little bit tighter, a little bit quicker, and they have started their sprint. Is it early? And Clare's Court, they've responded. Both these crews going up in rate.
The umpire, Sir Matt Pinson, keeping a very close eye on it. In the final couple of 100 metres of the Fawley, the repeat of last year's final is every bit as good. Clare's Court won it last year. I'm not sure they're going to win it this year because the Windsor Boys School have put on a move in front of Stewards, half a length up nearly the Windsor Boys School. It looks like there's a bit of a move coming back. Clare's Court School giving it everything to the finish, but Windsor Boys School are going to hang on from the Berkshire station. The Windsor Boys School hold their nerve, and they really had to put together a good race. They win by half a length, and it's a reverse of last year's result. Clare's Court School second. There, the celebrations. The Windsor Boys School ecstatic with that result. Boy, were they asked to work there.
Brilliant. And Windsor Boys, first time they've won as a single club. They've won as part of composites. They are not allowed to do composites anymore. This is a schoolboy event to have as a single club. Windsor Boys School, congratulations. Look at that. Fingers up.
The news that they've just won at Henley is slowly sinking in.
And that fast start that really paid. They were able to absorb Clare's move in the middle and go again. They learned from yesterday, went out so fast. And Clare's, that lovely loose rhythm, that move, not quite enough because Windsor had another match to burn, as we say.
It was incredibly tight. There was only a few seconds of the race, I think, where Clare's Court School led in mid-race. They just nudged ahead momentarily, but every time they asked the question, the Windsor Boys School had an answer, and all the way through the race they kept offering more.
Yeah, Coach Mark Wilsonson will be delighted. Great work. Clare's devastated.